Welcome to Hope Medicines Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, well, not anytime, but this is your time.
Cool. Once in a lifetime situation here.
Yeah, so introduce yourself.
I'm Brianna Rowe, Brandon's twin sister, the best one in the family. I'm just kidding.
All right, yeah. You can chill. All right, so what are we going to be talking about today?
A lot.
Real or fake?
That's a heavy topic.
Because you either real or you fake. Plain and simple.
Period.
And nobody likes people that are in the middle.
Ooh, so is there a middle?
It shouldn't be, but there are some. Nah, ain't no middle.
Okay, you either real or you fake.
You real or you fake?
Period.
That's what we trying to decide today. All right, so everyone knows about the George Floyd death that happened. It was tragic. I actually didn't watch it. I couldn't watch the whole video until like recently.
I didn't watch the whole video either. I couldn't get myself to do it.
Yeah. So when did you see it?
I saw it that day actually when it happened. But I only saw the ending of it, where he was pretty much just saying, you know, I'm about to die, and like you're killing me, I can't breathe, and the guy told him to relax, and that's when it ended. They came and picked him up off the ground and put him in the car. It wasn't even the EMS people. It was just a cart.
Yeah, I had seen it on Facebook, and then I watched a little bit of it, and then I was like, can't watch this.
Yes.
But I watched it. I want to say last week when I was trying to think of what to say. In a sense, I wanted the rawness of it. You know, the raw emotions.
Yeah.
You know, so I wanted to watch the video, and it was sad. Yeah, so that's what led to us doing this podcast, this episode, Real or Fake, because now there are a lot of people that are saying Black Lives Matter, you know, and we want to know if it's real or fake, you know, because we don't want people to do it for dollars, you know, or have their own agenda behind the movement, you know.
For sure.
But we ain't gonna jump right into that. We're gonna talk about black athletes. And I didn't go to college, so I don't have experience in the collegiate level of basketball. But you did.
I did.
So explain.
So I went to Concordia University in Ann Arbor. Enjoyed a great college experience. I graduated in 2018. I played 4 years. Started my freshman year. Like I said, it was a great experience. I've had my names in record books for most 3-point made in a season. I've scored over 1,500 points, and yeah, it was a great experience as far as playing at a level of that many people don't get a chance to do. It was a great experience.
So I texted you and I asked you a question. I said, did you notice a difference in the way you were treated compared to the other people on your team? Because most of the people on your team were white, and you are black, of course, and you are the best player on the team, plain and simple. You were. But did you notice any difference or anything that you necessarily didn't like concerning being a black athlete?
I would say going into it, you don't really get a chance to discover it kind of until you're out of it and you look back at your experiences. I would say there was a couple different instances where, we had different issues and different divides on the team, as far as just a different culture and different backgrounds that we all had. We had a white coach, a white coaching staff as a whole, and my head coach was a great guy, Coach Sankey. Great guy. He helped kind of lead the charge when different issues came up. He was a person that kind of was open for different discussions and different topics around background and different cultural differences because he recognized them. And we had different conversations about the kind of different lifestyles that we lived. So just knowing, just the different conversations you have to have with the head coach was totally different as far as, me having to share different backgrounds and, kind of my perspective on life that some of my white counterparts, because he walked that lifestyle, he didn't really have to ask, So for me, it was just different conversations we had to have as far as like the coach and player relationship goes and how it was built. That's definitely was something different, which I appreciate, him taking the time to have those different discussions and wanting to get to know what I was like and what happens in my life.
So question, so what you played 4 years, what year did he like come to you and like was it just kind of straight off the gate that he kind of addressed the issues or addressed you in a sense, or was it like after certain things start popping up?
So I think I would say maybe sophomore year. Freshman year was more so really about basketball and really trying to get our team together. We weren't very good my freshman year, and we kind of were, focused on what we had to do to get better. I would say towards my sophomore year is when we were getting better, but then also the culture of the team started to grow, and we started adding different pieces and different colors. When I first went to school, we only had 2 African American players on the team, and then my second year, my sophomore year, we added a couple more. So that's when you kind of had to have those discussions. And I was a person that was open with my coach, and he was more so open with me. So we talked about his background, his best friends, and from it being an African American boy down the street to where he grew up in Chicago. So we had those conversations starting my sophomore year, and didn't really happen as issues arise. It kind of was just something that we talked about.
So it sounds like as a coach, he was aware of your background. He was aware of your race, had understanding, because you said he had a friend that was black,
yeah.
And he grew up in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew. But okay, so he knew so he's the head coach, so he sets the atmosphere, but he can't necessarily control certain things.
Right.
He can only control what he can control. Did you notice a difference? Okay, let's talk team experience. So let's move the coach out of the way, and let's just talk about the team. The locker room. What did you notice any difference in the way that you were talked to, or
I would say not initially, no. We didn't have many issues, especially not as far as race, or anything that I could encounter or think off the bat that would assume that it was anything regarding race or any issues regarding race. I would say my senior year was the year where we had an issue on the team where we were getting ready for a game actually, and I was on the side with some teammates warming up, and one of our teammates was saying, or one of our white teammates was saying that kind of the only reason the black kids are playing is because coach favors the black kids. He wishes he was black, and he wished he had a whole black team.
So this is her words.
Yeah.
That's exactly what who did she say it to?
It was a group. So I was there. It was me and another mixed teammate, and then 2 other white kids.
So she said it to y'all.
Yes.
what was your response to that?
So my response initially was like, I got defensive. I'm like, wait, hold on. So you're saying that besides talent, because at this time I was a pretty good, basketball player, one of the leaders on the team, and someone that the team looked for scoring and for, different energy type things. And I was like, wait, so you're saying the only reason I'm out here playing is because of my color? Not because of what I produce on the court. It was just only based on my race, and coach only enjoying, watching that race go out there and play. And that teammate was like, no, I didn't mean you, not you. I'm like, wait, so you just set a racial, generalization of a race, but then you said not me because I don't get to fit that description. I'm different. So, but she was, commenting on two other teammates. So it was, I think, 5 of us at the time, and she was commenting on 2 other teammates that one took a position of hers, and then you kind of knew where it was coming from. It wasn't about race, but that was the only thing that she could justify.
Well, she claimed it was about race,
right.
So it could have been the way that she thought.
Yeah, for sure.
Not and that's the issue. Yeah. That some people jump to race instead of just saying somebody's better than me.
Right.
Like, my race shouldn't have anything to do with, like, I was in the gym putting in work.
Right.
We both had opportunities to put in work, and, and race shouldn't be something that you think of. You should just think, oh, yeah, this person is working harder than me, and they deserve to, play.
Yeah.
So I could see... and that's just, I just feel like the fact that she felt comfortable saying it is an issue.
Oh, for sure.
It's just an issue that needs to be spoken on.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I brought you to this podcast, because we're speaking on racism. We're speaking on the thing that is going on right now, and there's definitely a lot of racist things that's just pushed on athletes and things like that, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's why we say real or fake. So do you feel like, so you went to school that, yes, even though your basketball team was predominantly white, the school was diverse.
Yeah.
So schooling wise, do you feel like that you were maybe treated different, or different opportunities came to you based off your race?
So I think there are great people who allow different opportunities for me to have. But I do think that there is an agenda overall when it comes to universities, as far as what they put out there to be the face of the school and the face of different programs. And I had opportunity, which was a great opportunity, to be a student ambassador of the program that I studied, sport and entertainment business. I do think that was based on a cultural thing that, you kind of had to put me out there. 1, because I was, a great individual, but 2, because it makes the school look a lot better and more appealing to a diverse community, welcoming in more African American students. So I think, absolutely, I think that even in corporations, you have to meet a status quo of what the school looks like, or what the corporation looks like. So you have to use different techniques to appeal to the audience that you're trying to appeal to. And I do think that I was definitely used to do that.
So we went to Birmingham Groves, which was a very diverse school. We had every single race in there. Do you feel like, and we also came from the city, so we came from the city, and we moved out there in 8th grade, and we had to adjust to being out there. Did you feel like you experienced any racist or any type of racism being at Groves? Like, did you feel like you might have encountered something?
Yeah, that was actually my first instance where we had an issue on the basketball team. We had some parents in the stands. There was 3 African American kids on the team, and they kept saying the black kids only pass to each other. Like maybe it's from where they come from that they only look out for each other. And it just so happened that us 3 African American kids were the best kids on the team, and unfortunately the our white counterparts weren't as good, and we kind of we had to. We were trying to have a successful team. It wasn't that we were looking at each other like, oh no, not the white person. Oh no, not the we weren't doing that. We were going based off talent. Where I think a lot of times, again, when it went back to the point of they don't look at the talent. They kind of look at the person first, or the color of your skin first to make a justification for them not being as good or as having to work as hard when it comes to sports in general. I would say that right there was the first time that I saw that in an instance where we kind of were picked on for being good.
Yeah. So in a sense, it sounds like privilege. In a sense, they feel as if they should have more, and if you have more, then they make it about race instead of making it about talent. Yeah. Which is terrible. We're trying to win this game, and we are the best players on this team, plain and simple.
Yeah.
So race should not be the issue.
No.
This is basketball. And I could see how that would make you. So what was your response in that time? Because that's your first experience.
Yeah.
We came from the city. We didn't have any white friends in the city.
Right.
there were there any white people?
I don't think so.
We might have had. No, we had light-skinned people, but we didn't have.
No, we did. Our neighbor was white.
Oh yeah, but he was more so black
Urban.
to us.
Yeah, he was urban.
Yeah, you could tell he was raised around black people. He was real cool. But other than that, there were no white people.
No.
So we didn't have any type of encounter with a different race.
Yeah.
And we didn't think. I would say I did have to get used to white people because they have a weird sense of humor, and if you don't know, then you will think of it as offensive.
Yeah.
They just do weird stuff, and you'll be like, yo, for. If you did it, then I'll be like, all right, hold on now. What you trying to say?
Yeah.
And they think it is a joke, But yeah, so would you say that you had to adjust?
Definitely had to adjust. I think I was more open to new experiences. One, because I went into it knowing that it was about basketball for me, and I felt there was an opportunity to get acclimated into a world that we've never been in. I think in order to be successful, you have to be able to work with your counterparts. You have to be able to build relationships and sustain relationships outside of your own race. One, because what your race may know, or the knowledge that you may know, somebody else may know a little bit more regarding race or different ethnic backgrounds. Kind of, you don't get the perspective of the whole picture until you get out there. So I think being able to adjust, but also being able to understand that you guys don't walk the same walk, and then being able to want to learn and understand that walk that somebody else has was something that I was pretty excited about. I think that was something that was pretty cool for me from the jump.
No, so do you think basically being around diversity helps you to deal with different people of different race? And
Absolutely.
Kind of, if you're sheltered in one area, it kind of can either cloud your judgment or just make it difficult when you're put in a different area.
Absolutely. I think if you stay in a box, you only get to peek over the fence of, you know, what might be outside of that box. I think you always get to get a prejudgment, especially if you look at media and the news and different platforms that kind of want to keep us in a box. I think for both African Americans and actually any race, they want us to stay within our own race. One, because they don't want the country to come, or not even the country, but the human race to come together, because there's so many good things that could happen out of that. So I think the media and different platforms try to keep that divide there. So what we see is only what they want us to see, and we'll watch different racial videos and we'll think to generalize a whole group, or we'll see different videos of, you know, different people. You're like, you're generalizing a group based on what you see or what you hear, but not your own experience. So I think when you get out there and actually experience it, that's when you actually get to know that other group as a whole for yourself and make your own judgment of character.
Yeah. Would you say so? I didn't play college basketball, but I played high school basketball, and I don't feel like I experienced any like racism like that I knew about. I believe the people that were on my team, like, they wanted to embrace our culture. Like they liked it, and they wanted to, like, I remember we used to play like hip hop throughout the in the locker room. It was a song called Bang Bros by Lil Durk, and like all the white kids on our team used to be like, yo, play that Bang Bros, play that Bang Bros. They used to come in the locker room, play that Bang Bros, play that, you know, and they used to just turn up with us. And like I don't feel like they, like, more than anything, I feel like they embraced, they wanted to be a part, in a sense. So I don't believe I had, and then also, like, I met some cool white kids that were like, cause I never looked at them like, oh yeah, they're white, you know, like, no, I was just like, I remember going over Grant Gilbert's house. What's his dad name? Dan Gilbert. He's the Cleveland Cavaliers owner and Quicken Loans owner. I remember going over his house, and I didn't think, I'm going to these white people's house. You know, I was like, I'm going to this billionaire's house. Yeah. You know, like billion, one of those two. He got a lot of money. So they embraced me and didn't treat me different, you know. And even I remember talking to Dan Gilbert, and he actually gave me a compliment. He said he liked my game. He's like, yeah, you're really quick, like you know. And I'm like, oh, so at that point in time, that's my first encounter with a white billionaire, you know. So I'm just like, yo, you actually are cool, you know. And like I said, like I more so thought that he would be stuck up in a sense like that. And that's not based off race, it's just based off money. Like, you know, I'm like, all right, you might, you know, be stuck up or something like that, but it's like cool, like, you know. And that was my encounter. So I never really experienced like racism in that area, or felt like they were treating me different. I felt like, if anything, they were embracing me, you know, and I was embracing them because I wanted to. Yeah,
I feel like if you go into something closed off and not open to new experiences, you're only gonna get a bad result. But if you go in there open and not looking at color, but you're looking at character, and you're looking at beyond what, because African American people don't walk around and say, oh, they're white, or they're white, or they're white. We don't get
some people will.
Some might. Let me fix that. Okay, I don't. Walk around. And I don't think I know anybody that walks around. You know, kind of looking at color first. I've always been a person to where, like, I see you. You know, I see you beyond what your color may look like, and I don't see you based on kind of the monkey on your back or the different experiences that you had. Like, I want to get to know you, you know, regardless of race or background, or, you know, I want to see the great in everybody. So I don't think there's ever been a time where you kind of walk into a situation shut off that's going to end good. It's not. It's going to end bad. So I think even with our move, we kind of embraced everything that came with the move.
So you basically saying because we wasn't closed-minded, then that's the reason why we were able to be comfortable with our different experiences, whether, you know, even when it came to the racism or any, you know, you still was able to handle it in a good way. You didn't take it as, oh, everybody that is white is racist.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to, like, we can't judge one person, like, be like, okay, because this one person did this whole group is like this.
Right.
And that goes for black people and that goes for white people and all different races.
I think also in that like the story I shared, we didn't take that person in the experience in college. We didn't take that person and say you're racist. You know, in the beginning we kind of felt a certain type of way, but it was until we were open that instance brought apart or among conversations that needed to happen in the locker room. That I took that, you know, what happened to our coach, and he was like, it's time to sit down and talk. You know, and we were able to have a real conversation about our real differences and bring up the actual issue of, you know, kind of trying to push off the fact that you aren't working hard enough and, you know, make an excuse of it being about race and why that was wrong. And that person learned from it, grew from it, and now is a active, and she's on social media like, all right, we really, you know, as a white group and of somebody of privilege, we really need to sit down and understand what it is exactly that we need to do, you know, in order to be better. And I would say even in college, I had 4 white roommates. And those, you know, they had an African-American class in college. They would come back to me and ask me questions like, is this true? You know, is this really what happened? Or is this really, when you have an opportunity to have those conversations, that's when change can happen. But if we as both sides of the fence or you know, both sides of race aren't open to having that simple discussion, because it's simple, it's not hard to have those discussions.
It may be uncomfortable.
It may be very uncomfortable,
it's
worth it, and that's when change really can happen, because you can take those things that you learned in that conversation and teach it to somebody else.
Yeah, so like basically, and like I see, like, you know, like I see black people now like wanting to, in a sense, return racism with racism.
Yeah.
And that is wrong.
Wrong.
That's like, that doesn't make sense, because you can't be mad if you want to choose to do the same thing. Like, you not know better, you know? So I also want to make that clear, because I am seeing racist agendas by black people. Like, the issue is not color, you know, it's communication. Like, we have to communicate with people of different race so they can get a better understanding, because there are generally people that don't know, like they don't know much about what it's like to be black. You know, they don't know much about growing up in the hood. They don't know much about certain things. And for us to think that they do, you know, for like, we can't just say, oh yeah, you supposed to know. Like, if they don't, they don't. Right. You know, and we can't, you know, if they wasn't raised around it, they...
Yeah, I definitely think it's people who grow up and don't know. You know, as a white person, I saw this video of a white woman saying, I really didn't know. You know, I it's not that I didn't know, but I didn't want to believe that people could actually hate somebody based on something that you cannot choose to be. You don't get to pick your race, your booty, your nothing. You don't get to pick no feature of yourself when you're in the womb. You don't get to select what you want to be, you know. So you can't simply judge somebody based on something that they can't choose. And people didn't understand that. Like, I don't see that being, I don't see it, you know. And there's people who really don't see that happening, and I definitely think that's something that could happen.
Yeah, you also had another experience, I believe it was in high school, the racist joke. Remember it was a racist joke that was told to you? Remember it was a racist joke that was told to you? No. You don't remember?
What? No.
Okay. You remember that there was a racist joke, like somebody was one of your teammates said something about you. Oh, they don't do that in Africa, or you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So now we you know. So now explain that scenario.
That's funny that you remember that. But I what we were doing. Oh,
something about skiing.
It was about skiing. So we were discussing, different things that we've done, and one of my teammates was talking about how she went skiing. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, I've never, been skiing. And she was like, wait, they don't do that in Africa? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not from Africa. I ain't never been to Africa, and yeah, that was I didn't even think any further of the situation because I'm like, that was just dumb, but I've never been to Africa, and I don't even like.
So did you? So in that time, you didn't take it as
no, I didn't take it
like racist.
Yeah, I didn't take it that way. I kind of laughed it off, like, bro, I've never been to Africa. Like, I took it as a literal, like, I've never been to Africa, and why would you say that? It was kind of like one of those, and I'm like, dang, that was wow. I've never been there. That was kind of what I took it as.
Yeah, that's.
Now looking back, that was rough.
Yeah, that was difficult. Like that's like, yeah. I mean, I feel like sometimes, I don't know. I feel like people like assume,
For sure. I think people get very comfortable. I think it's jokes that may happen at home with a group, and they get comfortable in a setting, and they say those jokes, not knowing what it actually meant. I'm not saying that I don't know if she meant to be racist or not, but I'm saying that I think people get comfortable with having those conversations at home, that they accidentally get comfortable in a setting and they say stupid stuff, and you're like, bro, what?
Yeah, I mean, it also depends. It depends on your relationship with that person. Yeah. Also, like, there's certain things that if somebody's really close to, for instance, we twins. So I can say something, and you may not take it as, oh, he just said this. Yeah. Because you know me. Mm-hmm. We got a relationship. So you not gonna pretty much run to, oh, I don't want to talk to you no more.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
But there's people that you don't have a relationship with that say certain things. Mm-hmm. Because I can remember. Like, as I think about it, some of my white friends, they had like they little jokes and stuff like that, and I didn't take it as, oh, bro, what you. Yeah. I would just laugh about it, mm-hmm. because I didn't think they were racist, right? Or, like, I'm not saying that they are, but I'm saying I didn't take none of that from that situation. Yeah. So it depends on, like, your relationship with that person. Sure. For certain things to be said, Yeah. And for certain myths and things like that to be tackled, you got to be willing to ask the question. So whether you think it's dumb or not, I would say us as black people have to be open to hearing people of different races ask different questions, because we can't take every question as, oh, they being offensive. Oh, right. No, like, some of these people really don't know. Yeah. Like, they really, like, and some of them have grown up with people telling them something different about black people. Right. So we have to be open enough to have that conversation with them. Like, yo, I don't know what you heard, but that's not true. Yeah. You can't break barriers if you don't break conversation boundaries. Yeah. Like, you absolutely can't, and you have to be open on both sides to have those tough conversations. Because I would say there was times, like I said, when I had those 4 white roommates or 3 white roommates, and I was the only black person, that we had conversations that got heated. We had conversations that went sideways. Do you mind speaking on? Do you remember one that you may be able to speak on? You don't have to necessarily, like, just verbatimly, or like a little bit that you do remember. Like, what kind of conversations were there? I would say so. It was kind of based on. So I had we were talking about how, I think it was about the Holocaust and the difference between, kind of what happened during the Holocaust and what happened with slavery. And
a lot of people were saying like it's not fair that we forget, they choose to forget about the Holocaust, but we choose, as African Americans to keep bringing up slavery. And I'm like, it's not fair that we're forgetting either one of those, because they both are real. And, I was just saying from my background that slavery is still, in a sense, going on, and discrimination against race is still going on, from the educational opportunities to financial opportunities. It's still happening. And you don't see those things predominantly happening, with those that were involved in the Holocaust. You don't see that. But we see us being, still unjustified and discriminated against on a daily basis. We can pull up different stories from every day because the media doesn't show every one of those. And I'm like, we're tackling the issue that's still at hand and that's still prevalent to our culture. So I said it's we're not telling them to forget. We're telling them to deal with the issue right now, and kind of solve that one.
I also want to make this point: we are not crying wolf. Like, we're not crying for sympathy or anything like that. It's more so, let's deal with this issue because we're tired. We're tired of being treated differently. Yeah. For being, first of all, look, I have dreads, and I'm black. So there's a different. Sometimes there's different ways that people look at me. Yeah. And we don't want to be looked at differently because, I don't look at people differently, so we just want to be on a fair scale. We should be able to get jobs. We should be able to, we shouldn't have to have a certain name for you to believe that we are a certain color.
Right.
So that we may get a job. Yeah. So there's definitely, systems that are racist, systems that don't want to allow for black people to overcome, for black people to get to it. It's like they only want to allow for black people to get to a certain level, a comfort level in the system. Not over top. If you try to go over the top, then they're like, oh, hold on. We're gonna try to do everything we can to stop you from doing that.
I think about
it's like power. We don't want to give you too much power.
For sure. I think about the educational system, as I'm a teacher now, and in the Detroit public school system, where we don't have those opportunities that we had when we went to high school, when we went to Birmingham Groves, and we had just stuff just there. We had computers, we had media centers, we had everything you can think of.
Stuff
we had
that we didn't even need. We had
rooms in the building that we never even went to, and in the Detroit public school setting, they don't have that opportunity. They don't have an opportunity where they feel like they can succeed. They don't have the.
I want you to, because I want you to tell them how you know this, because they don't know they don't know of your background. Let's just say they don't know of your background. Everybody that listens to it won't know that you are a teacher currently.
Yeah, right.
So you have every right, and you literally know this. You know the system. You know what's going on. So speak on the stuff that or the things that are not being provided for the black kids in your community. Tell everybody what school you teach at and things like that.
I teach at Fisher Magnet Upper Academy. I'm a PE teacher there, and even just in the PE setting, I think back to when I was in high school and we had an abundance of equipment and different things in the gym, rock climbing walls and stuff we didn't even need. We had basketballs for 100 kids, and we had everything you can think of. We had it, and different opportunities. We had a safe environment where we could go outside. Our kids don't even have the opportunity. We didn't even get to go outside this school year, one, because of the virus, but also because it's not safe in around the area of the school. The kids can't go outside and play at the nice park that we have outside of the school building because gangs hang out there or different people hang out there. They don't get to see the types of teachers that are out in suburban schools or the different opportunities that are there. They don't get to see that. When I went into the school system and my first day, the kids are like, "What are you doing here? You didn't see us on the news? What made you come here?" And I'm like, "Y'all don't think y'all deserve that opportunity?" and we, our African American kids are feeling as if.
So in a sense, you believe that we're the African American kids in the hood are conditioned to think that they don't.
Oh, absolutely.
So literally, they're conditioned to think that they can't have better,
yeah,
or that they don't deserve better,
right.
Which is like, who's teaching them that?
Yeah.
Like, are they coming? Like, do you think coming out the womb? Like, yeah, we don't. There's literally systems that are set up teaching them that they don't belong anywhere else.
Yeah.
They got. I mean, even when you look at statistics, like they lead you jail, dead, like, and it's more so in the hood, like it's more so in the areas. Those areas are like have a high population rate of deaths and jail inmates and different things like that. Like, and it's literally from trickling down from their fathers and their fathers, and you know. So, in a sense, you're seeing that it's a condition placed on the black kids in the community, sure, that if they don't see otherwise, they will continue. Like, if you don't show them something bigger, then they won't go bigger.
And that's why I continue to tell them my story and tell them that it's possible, and you don't have to move out of where you are in order to succeed. That's not the answer. The answer is to bring those opportunities to our kids in the Detroit school district or any other school district with the similar kids and similar stories, because it's all over. I think it's not a matter of the only way to succeed is to move out. The only way to succeed is to give our kids a fair opportunity. So I really think that when you change the minds of these kids, that's when things will change. And I think it does not start from the top. It starts from the bottom, because our kids influence us, honestly. We listen to music because of our kids. We say different slang words because of our kids, not because of us. We don't bring it down. They bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's deep from that point of view, to think that it's literally conditions set up to tell us that we can't do better. And it's up to us, black people, that are willing to challenge the system.
Yeah. I don't even think it's all black people. I think it's everybody.
Yeah,
our white counterparts. We won't be. So when I think about slavery and the Harriet Tubman movement, I know that there's not only black people in that story. There was white people that were housing those African Americans that felt, or black people that felt like they shouldn't be in slavery anymore. They felt like they had an opportunity to be something bigger than what they were. So they housed them, they hid them in their houses in order for them to get free. I think it's a matter of everybody coming together and understanding and seeing that it's a real issue and being able to tackle it as a group, because one, these kids matter. We matter. Everybody matters. But until those black lives really, really matter, then that's when, change will happen.
And and that's why we say it's either real or it's fake. Sure. And we shall see, because you judge a tree by the fruit that is bare. So there's a lot of people, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. You can say it, but what are you doing? Like, what is your actions? Are you still judging that black person? Are you still holding your purse when you see a black person? Or like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that there, So, like, check your heart. Before you post Black Lives Matter, make sure that they really matter in your heart. Make sure you're not just going with the trendy thing, because I feel like, and I'm not saying everybody, but I feel like some people are just doing it because money. They don't want their business to go down, because black people pay a lot of money out to businesses, and they don't want to lose black customers based off them not saying something. Mm-hmm. So I feel like now you're just seeing it and they're just saying it, and I'm hoping that it's real, but honestly, I just don't think that everybody's being real, that they have agendas, and it's deep, because we don't want that. Yeah. We would rather you not say nothing than to be fake with us. you know, and we will be able to will be able to tell,
Yeah.
you know, very easily. We could tell whether somebody's being real or fake with us. Just one conversation, one statement, one action. So yeah, real or fake. Let's speak on there's a corporation, or different corporations, but one corporation, Amazon, had a mask that had George Floyd on it, him being murdered, like literally on the mask, like on their website. And initially, as soon as I seen it, I was like, I seen it on Facebook. So when I seen it on Facebook, because everything on Facebook ain't necessarily real, you know. So I make sure that if I see it, I'm gonna check it out, make sure that it's legit before I speak on it. And it was legit. It was literally a mass of picture of the cop killing the black guy on the mask being sold for what, $12 or something. Initially, I got mad because I feel like I don't think Amazon made these masks like they, you know, it was their idea. Oh yeah, we about to know. But I feel like you have to be held accountable because it's on your website. And if you scream out Black Lives Matter and you allow for something very racist, something very terrible to be put on and sold, and you get a percentage of it, that's not right.
Yeah.
You know? And so speak on that. How do you seen it too, so how did that make you feel when you seen that? Because I know for me it made me mad. Like, if that was my family member, I would be heated. I'm heated now, but I'm saying it'd be a whole different level. I'd be like, yo,
Yeah.
we had to figure out how to sue them, how to do something,
Yeah.
because nobody wants to continue to relive that.
Yeah.
And nobody wants a death to be a joke to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, that's their family member.
Yeah.
That's dead. So
Yeah.
speak on that.
So for me, it's definitely infuriating to see the death of George Floyd be a joke or a opportunity for the movement not to move forward. So I think that just in general, the Black Lives Movement this time with watching George Floyd be murdered, totally different than him when you know, people were shot and killed. We watched the non-remorse having police officer or person kill, murder someone that we could put ourselves in their shoes. We can put ourselves in the shoes of George Floyd. We can put ourselves in the shoes of his mama that he called out to. We can put our shoes into each person that was involved, you know, or just him in general. We can see somebody in that light. And I think just anybody trying to make money in the wrong way off of it, it's something that shouldn't be out there. It's not a time for jokes. It's not a time for not taking it serious. It's a time for change. And I think that really takes away the power and the movement, or even the voice that Amazon might even have or have the opportunity to have, because you're not going into your system and looking into what you're selling or what you're putting your name on to be a reflection of your views.
Yeah, I mean, like, with that, like I said, I feel like there has to be something set up, because to me, there's no excuses.
Yeah.
Like, this is a huge corporation. We know this. They have 1 million products, but this is one of the biggest. Like, this is huge. Like, somebody literally got killed on video, and it's going around everywhere. It's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like, and for you to slip up and allow something like this to be on your website that you are making money out of, like, you're getting a percentage out of
Right.
it. And then also, which was crazy to me, they have Black Lives Matter, and then they have that. Like, they have both.
Yeah.
Like,
It's kind of contradictory.
like you're selling both of the things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so at that point, to me, I was like, you just want money. Like, you don't care about what product is going on there or what the product is going to make people feel like and things like that. You just want to get paid.
Yeah.
You want to get paid. It's all about money.
Yeah.
So I feel like if corporations, or if you see something like that, I have to judge the tree by the fruit that it bears. I have to judge that as a whole. I have to judge the person the owner as a whole. You know, because
Yeah.
this is your business.
See, I agree 100% with that. I also think we have to also give these corporations or CEOs or people an opportunity to make that change. I think if we keep people that used to have this walk, or like when you go through, you say you used to smoke or you used to do this, and people keep you in that light of what you used to do, it's no point of changing, because the world isn't going to see you any differently than what you are. So I think even when we look at the NFL and the CEO, Roger Goodell, saying, that we made a mistake when it happened, with Kaepernick, whether it be him really being serious or him really not. We can't keep people in their racist used to be's. We have to give them an opportunity to actually show us and make a change, because they won't if we only tell them that you used to be racist and there's no way you can really feel like that. But I think hearts do change.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's another point is we have to let people grow out of their racism.
We definitely have to let them up, and we also have to hold them to the things that they say.
Absolutely.
Because we can't let people just say stuff. Anybody can say something.
Absolutely.
But it's more so the actions. Like, we have to see some type of action.
Absolutely.
Your actions have to line up with what you said.
Yeah.
Or I don't believe what you said.
Absolutely.
And that's how it should be. I want somebody to judge me by what I say and what I do. Like, hold it in the same thing. Don't because I'm not gonna say something and go contrary to what I said. My actions, they just have to line up for me. That's just how I live. Mm-hmm. And I hope that everyone lives that way. Like, if you say something, be about what you said.
Absolutely.
Don't just talk, because nobody's trying to hear that. It's either it's real or it's fake. And if it's fake, you can save it. So, let's speak on cops. Let's speak on, like, how do you feel when you get pulled over? Like, for me, and Truth spoke on this, and he actually brought it to the light when he was on Facebook Live, and he actually spoke on how there's times where we change our voices.
Oh, for sure.
If a cop pulls me over, I'm going to, my voice will, what we call it white voice, or a proper voice. Yeah. That's what, like, I'm going to make sure that they know that I'm not a threat.
Absolutely. Because
I understand that I have dreads and I'm black, and I know this is just how they think of me as a threat. Yeah. They think, that I may do something before a white person may do something. Yeah. Not that everybody may do something, but that they're more,
aggressive.
More aggressive. They're gonna, So at that point, I have to go out my way to let you know, hey, look, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm all right. What did I do? Like, I'm gonna make sure that I can leave. Yeah. That I can get out of. I can leave. Yeah. I can drive away because I want my life.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple. So if I have to change my voice for you to feel more comfortable, absolutely, I'll do it. Yeah. But I feel like we shouldn't have to do that.
We definitely shouldn't.
You shouldn't be ready to draw your gun because I'm black and I got dreads. Like, you shouldn't be ready to kill me, or think I'm a threat because of that. Yeah. You should judge everybody. Like, if that white person get aggressive with you, treat that white person how you would treat a black person. Treat them in the same manner. Yeah. Like, don't try to, we got to grab this person like this and we got to grab that person like this. Because there's literally white people that have did way worse things. And I'm not saying everything's bad. Like, I'm not going to say, whatever. But I'm saying, if you do a criminal thing, like, there's white people that have murdered people. The white person shot up the church and shot up, and
they took him to Burger King.
They took him to Burger King afterwards. Before they took him to get locked. Like, a black person shoot up a church, I'm sorry, they not getting away. Yeah. They will be murdered. Yeah. Murdered. Then, but the white person,
It's not even a matter of it. We don't even have to do the same crime. We can't even go in our wallet when you tell us to get our license. You think we pulled a gun and you killing us. And then the system justifies it. We can't sell cigarettes on the street without people killing us. We can't sleep in our own homes without you breaking in our house and killing us and justifying it. It doesn't make sense. It's not.
Finding some way to justify it.
It's not okay. It's really not. And I think even just really watching the person not have remorse for killing George Floyd while he was doing it and telling him just to relax, just to relax, was the point where America got tired. Not even America, because we're gonna talk about America, but the black people we got tired. We got tired. We got tired of hearing I can't breathe. We got tired of hearing another cop killing. We got tired.
Yeah, and that it's tiring, you know. And it does, to try to play a role. It gets tiring.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to change my voice for you to feel comfortable around me or comfortable? You know, like, why can't I just? And I'm not saying that we're being fake or anything. Like, this is something that we learned.
Yeah.
Like, when you come out the hood, we came out the hood and we went to Birmingham Groves, and that is in Birmingham. Like, it's on 13 Mile. Like, it's, you know, in the upscale neighborhood, you know, and we learn how to adapt. We learn how to change our voice so that people may be more comfortable around us, because sometimes by us talking a certain way, they say we ignorant or we like this and that. So we're like, no, I can be black, have dreads, and be intellectual. Like, I can be smart. Like, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know. So I feel like we gotta do something about it. We have to be active. And I also say, even as black people, I feel like we have to be more proactive and not reactive.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like black people started really chanting Black Lives Matter after this happened, and wasn't necessarily on that, or more so keeping that at the forefront until, like, it's reactive, you know. And I'm saying it for myself, you know, because I take my, like, I wasn't being proactive.
Yeah.
You know, we thought it may have died down or something, you know, but we see that it didn't, you know, and there's just stories that are not being told. You know, it's still going on, but there's stories that are not being shared. So now we're seeing a lot of stories that are being shared, and they're making people more aware that it is racism still out here. You know, there's still systematic racism that's still out here in the system, you know. And we just want some change. And let's speak on people are saying all lives matter. Basically as a statement, basically a response to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
They're saying white people are saying all lives matter, or different races saying all lives matter. Yeah. And we want to be frank that we're not saying that white people lives don't matter. That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying. We're saying Black Lives Matter because we feel as if people think they don't. Somebody was murdered, and some people still go on like it didn't happen. So we're saying our lives matter, because if that's a white person, I promise you this is something different. Yeah. If that's a white person, let's check. If that's a white person under there, I promise you this would be something different.
Yeah. He would have never went to the ground. Honestly, he would have never. The whole issue would have never happened. It would have never arose. The cops probably never would have got called. There's so many things and so many different stories that it probably never would have happened. I even think about the one lady who was in the park, and the guy was telling her that she needed to put a collar on her dog, and she's like, "I'm gonna call the police and say that there's a black man trying to threaten my life." She knows what happens to black people when the cops get called. She knows. She definitely knew. She was aware. She wanted that to be this man because he was going against the grain of her being free and able to do whatever she wanted. She knew one phone call could change the trajectory of this man's life. He might have never left that park. That's not fair for you to be able to call someone in order to make me feel as if my life is endangered by me keeping you upholded to the rules and the standards of a park. They know, everybody knows what's going on, but we're tired. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be an opportunity for my life to be endangered because you feel like I'm telling you to uphold your standards as a citizen.
Yeah, so we're asking for a fair shake, and we're not like racism is bad in general. Like no matter if it's a black person doing it or white person doing it, I'm gonna hold that person to the same standard because I'm not for it. I don't think it's cool. It's not cool to segregate people. It's not cool to think of people differently. It's just not cool. So, what do you think? So we talked about issues, but what do you think that we could do to help the black community? Like you're a teacher, so you are right there. Yeah. And I was a coach. I was asked to be a coach this year by my sister. So we coached until the coronavirus hit and school was canceled. But we helped to build up kids, and we wish we could have did more in this season, but we will be able to do more. But what are things that we may be able to do to help equip people of the urban areas to prosper?
I think one, stop trying to move out of different areas in order to make yourself successful. I think it's time for those people who have made it to go back and one, share their stories. But two, give them an opportunity to see and the tools they need to be able to succeed where they are.
So basically, you think that they should more so put their time and their resources into the black community to build it up.
Absolutely.
Instead of keeping it outside.
Yeah. And stop being afraid to go into your neighborhood where you grew up. Today I went and visited my first house in Detroit. And it's time for us to go back to those places because that's where we were made. That's where we were created, and that's what made us us. And I think it's time for us to stop being afraid and putting pictures on each other. Because black people do, each other we do each other injustices as well. And I think it's time to stop. It's time for us to be able to see each other as a whole, regardless of what you used to do, what you used to be, and how you used to act.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like even as we spoke, you said of the kids being conditioned. I believe we were conditioned in a certain way to think of each other, and I honestly believe it stemmed from slavery.
Absolutely.
To think of another black person as competition.
Yeah.
This competition has to go. We have to work with each other, even in music and things like that. Like I rap, and there's still people that won't necessarily work with you based off they think, oh, you gonna take this, you gonna take that.
Yeah.
No, let's work together. Let's get more people. Let's reach out and touch more lives. Let's not make it about money or anything like that. Let's actually we're better together than apart.
Absolutely.
Two is better than one.
Absolutely.
And so we just we got to break the condition that was placed on us, because I feel as we got to tackle it within ourselves first. We have to be happy for another person coming up.
Yeah.
Another person getting this and getting that, getting a house, getting a car. We have to let's go. Not take it as, oh, I got to do this. I got to get something better than them. No, that's not it. Mm-hmm. Let it be encouragement, not competition. you know. So we definitely we should probably like um try to think of like programs or something to and I'm just thinking out loud, but programs to help the black community or some type of, you know, we basketball has brought a lot to us. Like it has taught us a lot. It gave us different principles for life, and we also know that it's a good way to connect with other people.
Yeah.
You know, that's just like a common ground. So we have to use our common grounds. Music is a common ground. Like different things that are common ground, we have to figure out how to bring people to it, and you know, make it more than that.
Yeah.
You know. But I thank you for being a part
Thank you for having me.
of the Hope Medicine podcast, 3rd episode. It was a pleasure. We talked about real or fake, and we honestly want people to be real with what they say. If Black Lives Matter, allow for your fruit to show that. Let's see Black Lives Matter. We hold corporations and everybody responsible for what they say. So with that, this is the 3rd episode of the Hope Medicine podcast. I had my twin sister Brianna Rowe on there, and I thank her for being a guest. And hopefully she can come back. Hope Medicine, we out.